Monday, it'll be alright. Come Monday.
Greetings, this is Joe Valendi for PittstonPolitics.com. It is Monday, January 26th. Just got back from the federal courthouse up in Lackawanna County in Scranton. Before I get into what's going on down in Luzerne County, let me quote something that Steve Corbett wrote 15, 20 years ago in the Times Leader when he was there. He wrote, "County judges don't scare me. Federal judges do." That kind of sums up what's going on in the county right now as far as with Mark Ciavarella and Mike Conahan, where they were indicted this today on Monday. And as we can see, it wasn't on Tuesday, it was on Monday. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. The spin that I've got for you this week, or in the video of the press conference, which I have in its entirety pretty much, is not necessarily what's said. You're going to get that from quite a few sources in the TV and the other newspapers. But what I want you to check out, and we watched Judge Annie Lokuta, who was in attendance, was there early, good seat, center stage, listening to it attentively. What I want you to check out is I'm going to be flipping back and forth with my video camera between the U.S. Attorney and Judge Annie Lokuta. Check out some of her body language. And her assistant, who I believe is Maureen, I don't know her last name, she in fact wipes a tear from her eye at one point in this video. But check this out in its entirety, and we'll be back to you in just a second.
To see you all this afternoon, and joined with my colleagues in the office, and representatives of the Internal Revenue Service and Federal Bureau of Investigation, as well as our good friend and partner, Jackie Carroll, from the Luzerne County District Attorney's Office, to make some announcements this morning regarding developments in an ongoing investigation. Each year, throughout Pennsylvania, men and women who are chosen to serve as judges step forward and take an oath. An oath is old in this Commonwealth, and an oath enshrined in our Constitution. That oath calls upon judges, those who are chosen by the people to sit in judgment in our courts, to discharge their duties with fidelity. This oath isn't a mere collection of words. It is a promise, a solemn vow to the people of Pennsylvania, a vow that a judge will provide the people who come before him with his honest services. When a judge violates this oath, when a judge violates this solemn vow, the judge violates the public's right to his honest services, and the judge violates the law. When this occurs, it's the responsibility of the men and women of law enforcement, men and women like those gathered here today together, who've also taken an oath, to step forward. Today, after a lengthy, painstaking, and thorough investigation by the Internal Revenue Service and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, we're announcing the first developments in an ongoing investigation looking into allegations of misconduct in the Luzerne County Courthouse. Today, this office has filed a 2-count criminal information charging President Judge Mark A. Ciavarella and former President Judge Michael T. Conahan. The judges have been charged in this criminal information with conspiring together to impede the Internal Revenue Service in its collection of taxes. And the judges have been charged together with having devised a scheme to defraud the citizens of Luzerne County and the people of Pennsylvania of their right to honest services by judges by concealing their receipt of more than $2.6 million between January of 2003 and April of 2007. In conjunction with these filings, we also want to announce that we have filed plea agreements in these matters relating to both Judge Conahan and Judge Ciavarella. Under the terms of these plea agreements, both judges have indicated their intention to plead guilty to these honest services fraud and tax conspiracy charges. The judges have stipulated to serve a sentence of 87 months, just over 7 years, in federal prison. The judges have further agreed to resign their positions on the bench within 10 days of the acceptance of their guilty pleas, and to consent to automatic disbarment from the practice of law, as well as to pay restitution in an amount to be determined by the court. According to the charges filed today in federal court, copies of which have been provided to the media, the defendants engaged in fraud by taking millions of dollars from two unnamed persons in connection with the construction, operation, and expansion of juvenile detention facilities here in Luzerne County and elsewhere. These payments were made to the judges, it is alleged, in return for discretionary acts by the judges favoring these businesses, acts relating to the construction, expansion, operation of these juvenile facilities, and acts relating to the placement of juveniles in these facilities. The criminal information filed in federal court today alleges that the judges filed materially false financial disclosure statements with the Pennsylvania courts between 2004 and 2007. Statements in which they failed to disclose the sources of income that they were receiving from these unnamed persons and failed to disclose the relationship with these businesses. According to the information filed today in federal court, at the same time that the judges were taking these actions, concealing these payments and financial ties, they're alleged to have taken a series of steps to benefit these businesses in which they had undisclosed financial interests. The actions alleged to have been taken by the judges to benefit these businesses include the following: taking official action to remove funding from the Luzerne County budget for the Luzerne County Juvenile Detention Facility, thereby effectively closing that facility in favor of other facilities with which they had an undisclosed financial interest. It's further alleged that the judges ordered juveniles to be sent to this facility, these facilities in which they had financial interests, even when, on occasion, juvenile probation officers did not recommend detention of a juvenile at the facility. It is further alleged that the judges entered into a placement guarantee agreement to house juveniles in this facility in which the judges had financial interests, and guaranteed that the Court of Common Pleas would pay an annual rental installment of more than $1.3 million to this business without disclosing their own payments that they had been receiving or their own financial interests in these businesses. The charges filed today in federal court allege that by taking these actions, the defendants deprived the citizens of Luzerne County and the citizens of the Commonwealth of their right to the honest services of judges by taking these actions without disqualifying themselves from making decisions in matters in which they had conflicts of interest, and without disclosing to the parties or the public their conflict of interest or their financial relationship with these businesses.